tried to catch her. She decided she wouldn't go. She grew up calling me out. I grew up in a household where rules are rules and stuff like that. Now you got to resolve the switch
Get rid of people.
Before it was like she would go to schools, and I was she's supposed to be
I started my virtual account management position again. It's not a range, it's just extra work. And there are these issues to keep up when I'm just doing an extra hour at work. The whole day's worth of work. I just need to remember it's not my fault.
I was going to say when they changed the
that was once you start reading the Bible,
Good morning, welcome to Northcoast Community Church. Just take a moment with the Lord and commune with Him on an individual basis so you're ready to come to Him in worship and that you have a moment of sharing your love with Him as He expresses His love for you through music. Lord, may we be equipped through this service, equipped to face what you have scheduled for us next week. We want to be strong, we want to be compassionate, we want to be passionate, and we want to exhibit love to those around us, and we want to allow you to strengthen us as we face the challenges. So God, utilize the service, the music, the lessons, the time of community to strengthen us to face what you have scheduled for us this week. In Jesus' name, amen. Let's stand and worship together. When we walk with the Lord in the light of His word, what a glory He sheds on our way. What we do is goodwill. He abides with us still, and with all who will trust and obey. Trust and
Everlasting we pray for Beyonce, it's good for us to remember in our hearts that it's about an investment in the spiritual life of this people. If you haven't noticed, there's a great desire for God to be in the lives of His people. And oftentimes what that boils down to is taking out your wallet and saying, this is what I give to you. It's a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice. Now some of you don't know me, but I'm associated with Orange Coast Community Church since its inception. And I know some of you, I've seen some of you back when you were in junior high school. And I know some of you even said before that, before you were even born. So, and by the way, you know I married your pastor and his wife. So I'm not a stranger. This is really actually my home church. And I want you to know that I've always feel welcome here. And I know that God's leading me in the place, and I'm not sure exactly where He's taking me, but I'm excited. And I'm aware that it's going to be an adventure. And I'm saying to you this because I want you to know your investment has not been for naught. So when you take out this time to give to the Lord, remember that it has eternal consequences. Father, we just come before you and we thank you that we would be part of your plan. Part of your plan of eternal life is to send your only begotten Son for each of us. To be loved by the God of all creation in such a way that you would give your only begotten Son for me. I can only imagine, Father, what you have for me in the future and for each of us, Lord. You know, we do not desire to look into that, but we walk daily with you. We know that you have given us eternal life. In Jesus, you said, behold, I am with you always, even to the end of the world. And therefore, Father, we know that you walk with us each day. And it is for that we glorify you, Lord, that we don't have any other desire but to walk with you. Walk with us, Lord. You're welcome in this life. We embrace you, Jesus. And as we take this offering, Lord, as the ushers take this offering, Lord, we just ask that we be involved in each of the lives. And this that is given, Father, may it go far from eternal consequences of what seems so small. Bless you, glorify in Jesus' name. Amen.
We will praise you all of our days. Good morning, Pastor Dave.
Praise the Lord.
Morning, Pastor Dave.
Praise the Lord.
Every day.
Amen.
I say
That's great. Lord, your word says that this is the day that you have made. This day, right now, this moment, as we are here, you have made this day. And your word says that we are to be glad and rejoice in it, Lord. And we know each and every one of us here has things and places that we are in, situations that we believe are not of our making, but we have to understand after we see today, Lord, none of us are here in the situations we are in by accident, but we are all, Lord, on an appointed way. And we can rest in that. We can rejoice in that. And we don't just randomly just bouncing through this life, Lord, but you have your hand on every step that we take. We are grateful for that. We trust in that. Our faith is in that. Our eternal life rests in that. And our whole purpose here today, Lord, is to glorify that, your faithfulness. And we can put everything that we believe in you. And you will never let us down. Ever. So, in that, all God's people said, Amen. 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 Brother Troy. You're going to be part of this message. You don't know it yet. But I didn't know. Amen. We're going to and we're going to be turn your Bibles. Exodus 14. We're going to be kind of moving around, if that's okay. I've already had word from people that they're ready for that. So, just want to read this real quick. Just a quick overview. It says, 19th century expositor C.H. Mackintosh believed the Red Sea did not divide throughout all at once, but it opened progressively as Israel moved forward, so that they needed to trust in God for each fresh step. Mackintosh wrote, God never gives guidance 2 steps at a time. I must take 1 step and then get light for the next. This keeps the heart in an abiding dependence upon God. Amen? Amen. 1 step at a time. Sweet Jesus. So, we're going to be like Smokey the Bandit today. We got a long way to go and a short time to get there. So we're going to get to it. Okay. Exodus 14, verse 1. Now the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, now if you get a concordance and you start in Exodus chapter 3 and go to where we're at in Exodus 14, over 40 times it says the Lord spoke to Moses. Spoke, spake, or said. Either way, God's talking. And when God's talking, what are we supposed to do? Listen. And after listening, obey. Hey, there is like, listen, okay? So, he spoke to Moses. Now, he says, speak to the children of Israel that they turn and camp before Pi-Hahiroth between Migdol and the sea, opposite of Baal-zephon. You shall camp before it by the sea. One thing we're going to look at real quick where it says they turn. Okay? Take your Bibles real quick. It's just a neighbor. Go to Numbers 33:5. Brother Troy said, I don't know if we're going to, can't promise anything, but I'm going to be praying. And we'll see in a second. Okay. Numbers 33, look at verses 5 through 7. Then the children of Israel moved from Ramses, and we'll get to that, camped at Succoth. They departed from Succoth and camped at Etham, which is on the edge of the wilderness. They moved from Etham and turned back to 5 Hephron, which is east of Baal Zephon, and they camped near Migdal. Okay, a lot of words, a lot of places. But what we're going to focus on real quick is they turned back. See, they turned back. If you look at a map, this is like a map. Ramses and Goshen is like the northeastern part of Egypt. So the only way out of Egypt is east. You got to go east out of Egypt. And man had only 2 ways out of Egypt. The way of the Philistines, which you came east and headed north and followed the Mediterranean Sea to the boundary of Canaan. But God didn't want him to go that way. It says just 1 chapter over in Exodus 13. Because that whole south edge of the Mediterranean Sea had all kind of Egyptian outposts and all kind of things like that. And then if you got to the border of Canaan, it was the Philistines. And if you read, take that to your own home assignment. You go home and read. God didn't want to go that way because it meant battles and wars, and they came out of Egypt and said they weren't ready to fight yet. And if they see that, they're going to want to return to Egypt. Right? Your enemy wants you always to go back to Egypt.
Yeah.
Right? We'll remember the fish and the leeks and all the garlic and all that stuff. They had some fun times in Egypt. But how many remember the bricks without straw when the taskmaster said, you're going to make bricks, and now you're going to bring you the straw. You have to go gather the straw and now make your bricks, and your quota is going to stay the same. Remember from where we were brought. Don't start thinking where we were from was all this party time and stuff. No. Because what you had on this hand and what it cost you on this hand was a whole lot more. Amen? So, he said, turn back. As Christians, here's what we have to understand. As Christians, we think turning back means setback. I've already been here. You want me to go back? No. God's saying, I'm not setting you back. I'm redirecting you. You may have already been there, but you don't know what you might have seen that you missed. I'm going to show you. Now, let me introduce, this is such a blessing. Brother Troy, Benjamin, and Sister Adrian, right there. Give them a About four weeks ago, after the elders meeting, and after elders meetings, you have to be in an elders meeting. All you want to do is go home. You understand? 35 minutes can turn into 3 hours because it's an elders meeting. So, anyway, it was one of those extra nice elders. It was like 4 o'clock. It wasn't like 3. Anyway, so Kitty, one of the ladies who goes to church, was in ICU. And so I went and visited afterwards, and now it's a little bit even later. We visited, it's probably 6 o'clock or so. So I left ICU and I'm going past the waiting room to the elevators to leave, to go home, right? And I met a couple of ladies from Second Baptist Church. They were in the hall. So I'm going home. Spirit of God says, turn back. Turn back in the hallway. So I said, you know what? Amen. So I turned back. And I can't remember what sister was in the hallway. And I said, I was going to go home, but the Spirit of God said, is there anybody that we can pray for in the waiting room? And one of the sisters said, a man of God, come on. So went in, and there were all these brothers and sisters. We prayed and visited. I even shared that that's part of what the message is going to be. That's good. They're all listening real quick. So I said, okay, I'm going to go. We prayed. They said no. Their bishop was in ICU. So almost the exact same situation as Kitty. I mean, to the same tubes, to the same, not responding. It was the So he said, Pastor, come in with us. I said, that's okay. He said, so the ladies of the church were on each side of his bed singing praises. And they had me at the foot of the bed after they sang, I prayed. And went, and Brother, Troy called me a little bit later, and Bishop had gone home. He's with our loved ones who have gone before. But he said, well, we do this thing on Wednesday night. And I said, okay. And now I'm over there, and we visit and we learn, and I would not have met them. We would not have met them if he didn't turn back. So when the Lord is saying turn back, go back, don't argue, just mow back down the road and see what let me do that. Oh my goodness. Because he's already been there. He's already been there. He's not going to just go over there and say, just because. He knows I've got to figure out why. But if I don't turn back to go see, I'll never know. I would have missed my brothers and my sisters.
Yeah.
Amen. And guess what? They were messed up. Okay. That was verse 2. But what you have to understand is, the names, here's another thing, the names of these places, Migdal and all of these things, Baal Zephon, this is 3,500 years ago. The sands of time have covered these places over. It took me a week, God making my head hurt, trying to, maybe it was there, we don't know. Some issues, most people don't know where these places were. And even then, it wasn't like, here's Costa Mesa, here's Tustin. These were regions. These were areas. But the thing is, the regions may be different. The regions may have disappeared. But the reality of what we're seeing stays. They were places 3,500 years ago, and the parting of the Red Sea and this Exodus is real. We have to understand that. This isn't just made-up story. There was an Exodus at these places, and that's what happened. And he called them back because they were headed east. He goes, you got to go back east. Got to go back towards Egypt? Yeah. And then head southwest. And I'm going to put you right between the Red Sea and these mountains with an enemy coming from the north. Right? All by design. All by design. Verse 3. For the Pharaoh will say of the children of Israel, they are bewildered by the land, and the wilderness has closed them in. Well, the only one bewildered is at that point probably the children of Israel and Pharaoh. Now the thing is, as believers, as Christians, as we walk through this world that we're going in, right? We'll talk amongst each other. Pastor Phil will all use illustrations about how crazy the world is. Don't understand this world. It makes no sense. We hear things that are like upside down. Like Isaiah said, the things that are right are wrong, the things that are wrong are right. Everything is just mixed up. But the good part of that is it should make sense to us. We should be bewildered by the things that are going on. Because we don't belong to this world. We are sojourners. We are passing through this crazy place, heading for home. Amen. If this place starts to make sense, I'm in trouble. True story. If this place starts to make sense to me, I better get in the Word and in prayer. Because I'm slipping away. Nothing that's going on here should make sense to us. Why? Because there is no sense in it. It's man's logic. It's man's intelligence. It's man's best answer to the only things that God has answers for. So stay confused in the worldly things and get us in this as we can in godly things.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that's what it's going to do. This thing is going to get us through the nonsense of the time we're living in. Until we can be with Bishop and be seen him. Be with all the loved ones that have gone before. Hallelujah. Verse 4. Then I will harden the Pharaoh's heart, and he will pursue them, and I will gain honor over Pharaoh and over all his army, that the Egyptians may know that I am the Lord. I am. It's the same I am in Exodus 3:2, right? It's the self-existent, eternal God who needs no one for anything, is, was, and will always be God. And the Lord is the covenant name of Israel, Yahweh. I am that, and I will keep every promise, everything that I've said I will do, not just for them, but for us. Right? So, then he says in verse 5, now it is told to the king of Egypt that the people have fled, and the heart of Pharaoh and his servant was turned against the people. And they said, we have done this. Why? If we have let Israel go from serving us. Okay? Now, look at verse 5. It was told to the king that the people had fled. We're living in a time where every time you turn to fake news, fake news, fake news, fake news, fake news. Right? People understand. In logic, there's a law of non-contradiction. A cannot be A and not be A at the same time. So you can't be giving everything out there and all be true. There is some truth and something's got to be false. But everyone should believe whatever they're saying is true. Wrong. Okay. Fake news. This is, remember the people didn't flee. Okay. Take your Bibles and go to Exodus 10. I'm sorry. Exodus 12, rather. Exodus. And we're looking at verse 31 through 36. Now remember, the fake news was, hey, we woke up and these people had all ran away. They fled. Okay? Verse 31. Then he called for Moses and Aaron. Pharaoh, by night said, rise up, go from among my people, both you and the children of Israel, and go serve the Lord as you have said. Verse 32. Also take your flocks, your herds, as you have said, and ye gone, and he bless me as you go. All right, verse 33. Then the Egyptians urged the people that they might send them out of the land in haste. Not just here, but leave, go. All right? For they said, we shall all be dead. Verse 34. So the people took the dough before 11, having kneaded it, bound it up in the cloths of their shoulders. Now the children of Israel had done according to the word of Moses, and they asked the Egyptians articles, silver and articles of gold and clothing. And the Lord had given the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, but they granted them what they had requested. They plundered the Egyptians. So they didn't just flee. The Egyptians asked them to go. And as you go, here's some silver, here's some gold, here's some clothing, and please go. Okay, so that was the real news. So you look at verse 6. So he made ready his chariots and his people. Also he took 600 choice chariots and all the chariots of Egypt with captains over every one of them. So you had a charioteer, you had a warrior, and you had a shield bearer. So you had 600 chariots and 3 people in there, like 1,800 people on chariots, and the Israelites on foot. We'll see later, it didn't matter. It's all right. But the thing is, what we have to understand, friend, is our enemies, they will pursue us. They will pursue us. But, praise the Lord, they will never prevail over us. Are we getting that? There is a difference between pursuit and prevail. You can chase me all you want, but if you can't catch me, what difference is it? Understand? You can chase me, but if you can't catch me, you could be anybody else. But right? Try chasing down Usain Bolt. You're wasting your time. That guy run faster with a hamstring torn than we run regular. He can lift quicker than we can walk. So, you got to get the picture, though. You got to see what I'm saying. They can chase and chase and chase and chase, but they will never prevail. Not one of us sitting here today has got a God who will let our enemy prevail. Are we getting that? Somebody's going to get that before they leave here today. We are more than conquerors, friends. More than conquerors. Romans 8:33 says, who can even bring a charge against the elect? Because God is the one who justifies. You got that voice and blah, 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 this and that. Be done. Just like Jesus in the wilderness. Here's what God's word says. You claim these words and you use them to silence the voices. You use them when you've got that doubt in your mind. If I'm in the hand of the Father, and God's word says there's not one thing or person or demon or anything else that can snatch me from that hand. Guess what? That's what it is. We are safe and secure in the hands of God. One it made me happy. And I was studying by myself. All right. So the Lord hardened verse 8. So the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, king of Egypt, pursued the children of Israel, and the children of Israel went out with boldness. Boldness. High hand. Yod room. Right? High hand. Now, in the Revised Standard Version, it says they went out defiantly. And it can be both. It can be bold or brazen. Be careful. Because what does Proverbs 16:18 say? Be careful how you stand. Be careful of all of those things, lest you fall. Pride comes before the fall. So if God is doing a work in us, this is kind of fun. Proverbs 24. Turn to Proverbs 24. And we're going to look at verse 17 and 18. Because I'm guilty of this, and I think at certain times, depending on what side of the spectrum politically you're on, the side of sports-wise, whatever kind of side you want to take. Right? You there? Proverbs 24, verse 17 and 18. Do not rejoice when your enemy falls. Are you hearing that? Am I hearing that? Do not rejoice when your enemy falls, and do not let your heart be glad when he stumbles. That's the first thing we do. Give it to him. Sick him, Lord. Knock him out. Whatever you're going to do. Jesus, look in. Hit him. I think God's an attack dog sometimes. No. God is just. He is just. Verse 18. Lest the Lord see it and it displeases him, and he turns away his wrath from him. Now, if he turns his wrath away from the one you're hoping falls down, guess where that wrath might just come? Amen? We are to pray for our enemies. Okay? So careful now. Next time you get real bad when somebody took a fall, you better be careful. There's like some padding there, so when you start Okay, verse 9. So the Egyptians should pursue them and their chariots of Pharaoh, his horsemen in the army, and overtook them camped by the sea beside Hiroth and before Baal-zephon. Now, overtook just means to reach, to get a little close. Right? As we know, as the story goes on, he doesn't get it. He, like again, he can make an approach, he can start to reach, but he never gets to lay hands on it. Okay, can we see what God's saying here? As close as the enemy may be, what does James 4:8 say? When things are getting bad, but we draw near to God. And God will do what? Draw near to us. Right? So, enemy gets near, what do we do? Pray. And God will come near. Sometimes though, we go, It's like a recipe. No, it's not a recipe. It's something that I have to do. It is what I have to take ownership of. I have to ask God to come near. He'll be, I want to do this, God will do this. But if I ask Him to come near to me, He will. He will. Verse 10. So when Pharaoh drew near, see there it is, drew near, the children of Israel lifted their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them. They were very afraid. The children of Israel cried out to the Lord. Now that part's good. We're going to see in verse 11, not so good. But what happens is, here comes the enemy, and they did what they're called to do. They cried out to God. We got Pharaoh, we got chariots, we got guys with bows and arrows and spears, and they're coming. And you need to help us, please. Okay? It's absolutely. When we're in those dire straits, call out to the Lord. Why do we wait? Right? Why do we wait for the enemy to be like right here? And it's like 11,000. Why don't we see? Right? God, we've got the mind of Christ. We can see things happening. We're supposed to be discerning. We can see the storm coming. I don't have to get my lightning to know that it's here. Start, give yourself some time. You know? So he says, okay, so here's what's going on. So in verse 11, they cried out to the Lord. Verse 11. Then they said to Moses, oh, praise the Lord, I see our deliverance coming. Does it say that? Oh, let's see what the text says. Then they said to Moses, because there were no graves in Egypt, you have taken us away to die in the wilderness. Why are you so dealt with us to bring us up out of Egypt? Are you kidding? They just saw 10 plagues. The 10 plagues. The 10th plague was God killed every firstborn of everything that wasn't an Israelite. If you read it, even if you were in the dungeon, they killed the firstborn. Animals, first of everything. And they were still there. They didn't leave till after that happened. You know how many graves that must have taken? There were plenty of room. I mean, Egypt's a big place. I mean, there was probably, out of 100 million square miles, that place was probably uninhabited, maybe 2%. There's plenty of sand for graves. But their attitude, right? They were looking, right, at the landscape and hadn't fine-tuned their attitudes yet. We're in here, we're going to walk out. First thing we're going to walk, we'll get this message, we're going to sing praise and do all this stuff. We'll walk out the door, the first thing we're going to fixate on is the landscape. Yeah. We're going to walk out of here and nothing will be changed. We're going to walk outside, it's going to be, same as I walked in. That's an attitude problem. That's an attitude problem. The landscape's not going to change, friends. The world is the world. And the ruler of this world, little g, is going to do whatever he can to keep it from changing. It's not an accommodation for us. Like I said, our accommodation is not here. We do not want to do this like it's Motel 6 and I'll leave the light on and come on in and get comfortable. It ain't that. It ain't that. Our comfort comes from Christ. Our comfort does not come from everything we see around us. There is no comfort in it. And anybody here found any comfort in the world? Please let me know. No, seriously. I mean, you can have some fun time. You gotta go to a party or go to the beach, whatever. But there's no joy in it. There is no peace in it. The world is going to be what the world always is. And Peter says it's on a collision course with the Lord himself too. Yes. Everything you see with a fervent fire is going to go away. So don't get too used to it. It's going to be gone one day anyway. And we're going to be out of here. So we said, okay, there's no graves in Egypt enough. So that's, should just let us alone. Now verse 13. Amen. Now we're going to kind of get off with all that, and we're going to see what the Lord is going to do now. We got to have all this dread, all this bad stuff going on, but now we're going to start seeing the deliverance from verse 13 to the end of the chapter. And Moses said to the people, do not be afraid. Okay, you know what that means in the Hebrew? Do not be afraid. It means don't be afraid. Amen? If we had time, you know, I would ask, how many people in here right now as we sit are absolutely fearful for something? I mean, to where you're not sleeping, to where it's affecting your life. Here's real. But God is real. I don't know if that's grammatical, but it's true. And right now, for the saints that raise their hands, Lord Jesus, I would just ask even now, before we go any further to this chapter, where you can see what your deliverance looks like, Jesus. I would just ask for those who raised their hands and for those who did, for myself, for everybody in here, there's that part of us. Maybe not overwhelming, not just overtaking us, but those apprehensions. I would just ask, Holy Spirit, even now as we pray and as we speak, Lord, that you will move in our lives, and especially those who raise their hands, that they would let you play out, Lord, the direction that you are taking them in. And I was asking myself, why do I walk so much in fear, Lord, instead of waiting on you in faith, Jesus? So give them and us all of that ability, Lord, to let you do what you want to do, Lord, in the time that it takes. He said, do not be afraid. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Now, stand still means just that. It means to station oneself. Station oneself. That doesn't mean here and there, helter-skelter. He's saying, pick a spot, like it says in Ephesians 6, and when you've done everything else you can do, stand. When all the rest has been done, stand. He's saying, would you just stand for a second and watch what I'm going to do? When he says see, it doesn't just mean see with these, but it means to see and perceive. That at all, if you're, Lord, I'd like to watch what you're doing. I'm going to go get a Starbucks first. Then I'll come back. Let me go grab a donut. He goes, no, you plant your feet right there and watch the deliverance that's coming now. How much time I miss the things of God that I'm doing, running around here, going there, everywhere, doing things that don't matter to our village, little beings anyway. How much important things am I doing where God says, stand here for 1 minute and watch what I'm going to do? God. He says, stand still, and see the deliverance that God is going to bring. And He will accomplish for you today. You know what accomplish means? To show. If I'm going to stand right here for a little bit and just hold my ground, you know what? I might just see what God's going to do. I might just actually catch a glimpse of His mighty glory. Praise God. Praise God. So He says, and you're going to see what He's going to do, what He's going to show you today. That's why today is the day. You might have been waiting. I don't know. I don't know what God's got going, but today might just be the day it all makes sense. Today might be the day whatever He was working on gets finished. Or if not, it might be another piece of the puzzle that you're trying to get an answer to. Today. Let me just stand one place today and say, Lord, give me an insight today. Thank you, Jesus. And He'll accomplish you today. For the Egyptians who you see today, you shall never see again forever. When he finishes with an enemy, friends, the enemy is Done. The cross, go to Colossians chapter 2 and read verses 13 to 15. Every debt above that was all the accusations they had for Jesus. Jesus is now the King of the Jews. They intercede, whatever, everything. Every one of us had a debt, a load of debt hung on the cross. And when he died, everything was cleared. Every debt was paid. Everything.
Amen.
Everything. Hallelujah. We're carrying these bags of things around that don't exist anymore. He's saying today, oh my goodness, today, for the Egyptians, the enemies you see shall never be seen again. Now, we know that they still existed because if you go to 1 Kings 3, Solomon married Pharaoh's daughter, right? This political arrangement. But the enemy then, Egypt, never had the power to contend with them or God again after this. You will never see your enemy that can ever overtake you because I'm dealing with them. There was Egypt, but not like this Egypt. The Egypt you're seeing here is going to be the last Pharaoh in Egypt that could do what they did to contend with God. After that, it was finished. Amen. Somebody getting this?
Yes, sir.
All right. Verse 14. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. Will fight. Wage war. Guess who's waging war for everything that's trying to come against us right now? God. God will. And he's doing it right now. Hold your peace. Two different kinds. This means when God's done doing what he's doing and he's in the midst of doing what he's doing, be quiet. It means to actually be mute. Right? We can't, first of all, we can't stand still long enough, and we can't keep quiet long enough to let God do something for us. He's saying, stand still and be still. I don't know, to be honest, I don't know how many things I've missed moving too much and talking too much. Yeah. Pastor Julie says it's tight, but it's right. Let me show you how busy I can be, Lord, and see how much stuff I can do for you. The Lord says, why don't you be still and let me show you how much I can do for you. Verse 15. The Lord said to Moses. Now you notice the pattern, the Lord said to Moses. The Lord says to Moses. And every Lord says to Moses, next verse is, Moses does. And we're going to see it again. So the Lord said to Moses, why do you cry to me? Tell the children of Israel to go forward. Right? There's no graves over here. Blah, 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 blah. Move on. Right? When I was studying this, Lord, I just wrote it down. It says, do I do more time moping or do I do more time moving? Which one am I doing more of? If I was only 20 years younger, if I was only 20 years old, blah, 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 blah. Everybody. I mean, truth be known, we probably got a mope list about this long. Right? We got a move list about like, if I could move my pen from the mope list over to the move list, but that would give you one more thing to mope about, so I'm not writing only one on the mope list. It's true. I'm moping or I'm moving. And God said, quit the complaining and let's go. 1 Samuel 16. God already finished with with Saul. Before Samuel and Pastor Richard, God says, look, get over it, get your horn, put some oil in it, go down to Jesse's house because I got another king. That's it. God said, get the horn and go. I gave Saul what I needed him to do. I gave him what I needed him to obey for. When you wait for 7 days for Samuel, go kill everything. You don't bring back the woo. I hear the lambs, I hear the goats, I hear everything. Brought the king back just because. No. I said kill it all. You didn't obey. So, you're done. What it is. That's why grace is so good.
Yes.
God trying to show us, if I need something done, right? Same with Esther. Go in and talk to him. Well, if you don't hold out the scepter, I haven't seen him in 40 days, I'm a dead person. Goes, well, fine. You don't think somebody else is going to go? I won't raise somebody else up if you don't. I've got to be the one and obey and miss the blessing and have them bring somebody else in and they get to enjoy whatever God had to do that day. Does it cost something? Absolutely. But we should never talk about cost. Whatever it costs me will never come close. Never come close. To meet my brother and sister, all I had to do was do this. And see, we think it's got to be some great thing. All he's saying is do this. Turn. Turn. Okay. And we said, he goes. So he said, but, and we're going to see a but, a then, and a so. But lift up your rod and stretch out your hand over the sea. We're in verse 16. And the sea will divide, and the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. And I will harden the heart of the Egyptians, and they will follow them. Again, so I will gain what? Honor over Pharaoh, and over his army, his chariots, and his horses. This is all being done for one thing. Everything we do is done for one thing. To bring glory to God. This whole thing orchestrated by God was to bring honor to himself. Everything we do here, this, when Pastor Rick, when we sing, when we feed, when we serve, whatever it is, it's all to the glory of God. Amen. Apart from God, I can't do this. Rick can't do what you do. You can't play, you can't sing. It'll be a sounding trumpet or brass or cymbal. It's all to the glory of God. Amen. All of it. And they shall follow into the sea, and I will give the glory. Verse 19. Again, and the angel of God, it's that theophany, it's God's presence shown to us. Okay? Who went before the camp of Israel and then went behind it. So, we've got vanguard, rear guard. Now, all of the men here, women who are in the armed services, no better protection than somebody who's got the front and somebody who has got the back. Right? And like Chuck was saying, when he said, hold your position, right? If he gets a command from his officer, commanding officer, Chuck, I want you to stand right there in front of that, whatever it is. There might not even be anything there. I just want you to stand there until I come back. If it's a week later, Chuck better still be standing. No, but you're missing the point. That's what we're called to do. God says, you stay where I put you. How long? Until I tell you to move. Because in Numbers 9, when the cloud, God told the Israelites, I don't care if it's 2 days, a month, or a year, you do not move until I move. But this is good. This helps us to understand when we don't see things happening, we don't think they're happening fast enough, quick enough, or whatever. So it said, verse 20. So it came between the camp of Egypt and the camp of Israel. Thus it was a cloud of darkness to one, and it gave light by night to the other, so that one did not come near the other all night. Right? Remember the old Pink Floyd, obscured by clouds? The Egyptians were obscured by clouds, but not the people of Israel. Real quick, turn to Exodus 10. We're going to look at 2 verses. Look at Exodus 10. This is what 21 and 23. Exodus 10, 21, 23. Amen? You there? Then the Lord said to Moses, stretch out your hand toward heaven, and there will be darkness over the land of Egypt, darkness which may even be felt. One time, this was years ago, I was in one of them caverns down there in the Ozarks. I don't even know where I was. And you take one of these tours, you go way down in these things, you walk on these little wooden planks, and they say, okay, don't move. They turn the lights out. Whew. Yeah, you can't go, you don't know your hand is here. That's how dark. You can't even, you can feel it. So Moses stretched out his hand toward the heaven. There was thick darkness on the land for 3 days. They did not see one another, nor did anyone even rise from this place for 3 days. Listen, but the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. Hallelujah! Amen. Did somebody catch that? The world is in darkness. The enemies are in darkness. Their houses are in darkness. But to God's people, there is light in our dwelling. Oh. Praise God. Praise God. So he stretched out his hand, and the sea opened, and he caused the sea to go, and the east wind blew all night, it blew the land dry, and the waters were divided. Verse 22. So the children of Israel went in the midst of the sea on dry ground, and the waters were a wall to them on the right hand and the left hand. So you never just had a vanguard, you had a rear guard, and you had your left and right flanks were a wall of water. So what does that tell you? He was encompassed about all of his children, north, south. There was no way to get to them. You understand, as children of God, we're going to have trials, but they're not trials, it says, for trials' sake. They are trials to grow us, trials to strengthen us, trials to sharpen us. There's nothing getting into this life that he has not appointed to come into this life. I remember somebody asked Tina, they were saying, are you mad at God? Tina goes, why would I be mad at God? Why? She said, there's no guarantees here. Cancer is for Christians, cancer is for non-Christians. Auto accidents, things are for us all. But it's our hope, it's our faith that gives us the ability to do like we're supposed to do and act like children.
Amen.
Verse 24. And it came to pass in the morning watch, the Lord looked down on these individuals through the fire and the cloud. See, God has no problem seeing, he'll see right through the cloud. It doesn't matter. He sees right through everything to what needs to be done. It isn't like, it's kind of a cloudy day. I don't know if we can. I'm here, Lord. Here. He knows where we're at. Nothing hinders us from being touched by whatever God has us to be touched by today. No clouds, no mountains, no seas, no anything stops God. Nothing. So he looked down and he troubled the armies. He confused them. And he took off their chariot wheels so that they could not drive them with difficulty. So they drove them with difficulty. And Gideon said, let us flee from the face of Israel, for the Lord fights for them against the Egyptians. Now, the wheels didn't come off, obviously, because they drove them with difficulty. But he bound them up. He made them so they would not spin easily. Right? Now, how do you do that? Doesn't say. Hallelujah. Right? But if you read some of the stuff, well, it rained and got muddy and all of these things, and it doesn't say that. God just said, I don't want these wheels to turn right. That's it. Don't turn. And guess what? They didn't turn right. Are we seeing the God that we have? Yes. 600 chariots. He goes, I don't want their wheels to work so good right now. It was 5 seconds ago, like rolling, and now it's like, so the wheels aren't working. Verse 26. Then the Lord said to Moses, here we go again, right? Stretch out your hand over the sea, and the waters may come back upon the Egyptians, and their chariots, and their horsemen. Now you know when God makes this judgment, you don't see nothing gets away. The horse, chariots, all of them. Amen. Verse 27. And Moses, so now, there you go. God said, Moses did. God says, Moses does. That's what he's looking for us. Dave, okay. What is it? Stretch out your hand. Lord, turn back. Whatever it is, do it. Do it. Remember with Naaman, when they went down to and his servant said, now this prophet would have told you to do some huge big thing. Swim the English Channel or whatever. Something really big. You said, all right, let's go. But he tells you to go dip yourself. You don't want to do that? We're looking for this big thing we want to do. God says, turn back. Stretch out your hand. Welcome somebody. Say hello. Whatever. The big things are his. The little things are. So he said, he turned them back, and it returned to full depth while the Egyptians were fleeing into it. So that the Lord overthrew. You know what the word overthrew means in the Hebrew? It means to shake off. Oh, just to shake it off. You understand? The enemy, what we're seeing, when all of these Egyptians, he just... You have to understand, guys, that's the God that we serve. The enemies that we are so worried about, the enemies that are coming in like a flood, the pharaohs and his chariots and horsemen and everything, the Lord just went, shook them off. Shook them off. It might seem simple to the Lord, but if we allow Him, oh friend, if we allow Him, that's what He will do. He will rid. You know those collars they put on dogs and the fleas go away? Like that? Let Him make the enemies flee from us. But I think sometimes we like to hold on. We like them like Potiphar's wife in the robe. If you read that, she kept that robe. She kept that robe right where she could hold on. Colossians says we are to cast off the old clothes. Cast them off. It means literally take them and just throw them, get rid of them, and clothe ourselves in Christ. Then the waters returned, covered the chariots, everything. Verse 29. But the children of Israel had walked on dry land in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall to them on the right and onto the left. Verse 30. So the Lord delivered Israel that day out of the hand of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians dead on the seashore. We got one more verse to go. What we understand is, do you understand what he's saying? Yes. They visibly saw every one of their enemies floating face down in the sea. So when they stood over here, everything that was chasing them, all the chariots, all the horsemen, all the men of valor, everything that was galloping their way, they went and they looked, and it was floating face down in the water. How many of them escaped? None. And none. Everything that went in did not come out. And that's what God's trying to tell us today, friends. Everything that we have, that we're fighting, something that we're trying to get over, all we've got to do is change our perspective, look at it and see it floating face down. If God has killed it, it stays dead. We bring it to life. We want to resurrect it. We want to bring it back and let's say, let's go for a walk. God said, why don't you just let it be dead? Why don't you, if I've done, just leave it. Leave it. Besides, after a while, it starts stinking. You're walking around. What is that? It's that same old putrid thing I've been dragging around for whoever knows how long. Let it go. Verse 31. Thus Israel saw the great work which the Lord had done in Egypt, so that the people feared, different fear, this is reverence, feared the Lord and believed a fixed certitude. Amen? A fixed certitude. How many people in here came today with kind of a shaky certitude, but it's a fixed certitude now? 1, 2, 3. That's it. Think about it. I'll take 15%. Lord's looking for all, but that's all right. A fixed certitude in him and in his servant Moses. In his servant Moses. Moses, right? You want, for lack of a better word, God's right-hand man. I don't know if the staff was in here or over here, but he said, raise them both. Just put the staff in their hand. They put their faith in Moses because every time the Lord spoke to Moses, Moses obeyed, and whatever was going to be done happened. You think after the plagues and all these things, these guys put 2 and 2 together. You understand? Because you figure, every time there was a plague, what happened? The Lord talked to Moses. And Moses was going to go to Pharaoh. Moses said, you're going to have fleas in your house and frogs on the road and blood in the river and all of this stuff's going to happen. Now, can you imagine you're the guy going, oh, by the way, your whole house, you're going to be walking on lights, crunching all over the place. You're going to be dark, you know. But it happened. And so the people start going, there must be something to this. So they put their fixed certitude in the Lord. Amen. And the servant Moses. Let's pray. Lord, we all in this place, Lord, have our times of doubt, Lord, and fears. You understand that. You really do. Because we are working our way home, Lord. And one author put it, you who relentlessly perfect us, you have royally elected us. Sometimes that we might not like the process. And we might even rail against the process. We might even rebel against the process. But help us today, Lord, to understand that the turning backs and the understandings of what's going on is the situations that you bring us into are for our perfection, for our growth, Lord. That we may be better lights in this crooked and perverse world. In a world that is full of non-understanding, Lord, that is confused, Lord. Help us to be the one who reaches out a hand to someone, Lord, to bring them into your marvelous light, Lord, into a place where an understanding, Lord, that you are in control. Not just of the universes, and you hold everything together, seeing nothing, but for every one of we saw, like in the beginning, you give us one step at a time, and then light the next. So, in all of this today, Lord, embed it in our hearts. Bring it to our minds. But even more, bring it to our feet and our hands.
Yes.
We just ask you in the precious name of Jesus.
Amen. For those of you who knew that Pastor David was preaching this week and asked the Lord to light him up, he answered that prayer today. I was in his house among everyone playing darts, and he has a library that's almost comparable to mine. And you can see, when you listen to all the various applications that he draws from the text, those things don't just pop out. That's the evidence of hour after hour after hour after hour spent with God. And if you did not gain some application from that message today, you had to go to sleep. There's so much there. Information and application. I love it, David. Thank you so much. Love Orange is a special event that's going to be happening on April the 28th, put together by several churches here in Orange. It's a morning opportunity from 8 till 12:30 to do service projects for people in the city of Orange to show Orange that we love them. And so if you're interested in that, you can let me know. There's also information. You can get that online as well. We have two more messages on the life of Jacob the next 2 Sundays. And then the last Sunday of the month of April, I'm starting a new series entitled When Jesus Broke the Rules. And I'm going to look at 16 passages, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, of opportunities when Jesus broke civic rules, he broke religious rules, he broke parental rules. He did things to irritate people and disturb them to make them think. Now, I'm going to give you an opportunity to guess my mind. And so over the next several weeks, I want you to see if you could guess the passages, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, when Jesus broke the rules. And then if you can, whoever gets closest to guessing the most, there's going to be a special prize from Pastor Rick that's going to be offered on the first Sunday of the series, which is the last week of this month. So be sure to start getting in your Bible, looking for any opportunities, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, where Jesus broke the rules. Hand me one of those slips, 8x10 sheet of paper, in which there is a list, and then you can give it to me or place it in the back, and we will announce the winner that particular Sunday. Let's stand together with the worship team, and be sure afterwards to tell Pastor Dave how much you love the message.
All of our days.
Thank you.